Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Friday, August 16th. This is Gina Palma. Over the next few days, we will have some breezy and dry conditions to deal with, mainly over northern and eastern sides of the Great Basin. The areas indicated in orange show where the strongest winds will be, with gusts right around 30 miles per hour and also low relative humidity, potentially increasing fire potential. We will see winds increase over parts of southern areas of the Great Basin and along the Sierra Front as we move through this weekend, but wind speeds will be highest in the areas in orange. We've only had a few isolated thunderstorms over parts of Idaho, far eastern Utah, and southern areas of the Sierra Front over the last 24 hours, with really no precipitation reported. Light initial attack also occurred yesterday across the Great Basin, with the circles in red indicating our new fires. Over the last 2 to 4 weeks, we've seen generally very dry conditions over southern Nevada, parts of the Arizona Strip into western Nevada, and you can see where the precipitation over the last 2 weeks has been in the image on the left, which has generally been about near to below normal in most areas. And then over the last 30 days, you can see the percent of normal indicated in the image on the right. Only small areas of the Great Basin have seen near normal precipitation where those heavier thunderstorms have occurred, but largely we've seen below normal precipitation region-wide. Looking at our current ERC point map, you can see the ERCs. If you can see the arrows, they are going up across the Great Basin with hot temperatures and dry conditions in place. Many areas across the eastern half and southern half of the Great Basin are showing ERCs above the 70th or 80th percentile. We still are seeing some lower conditions over parts of central Idaho into northwest Nevada, but however, these areas continue to remain hot and dry and will continue to dry out. Looking at some of our current ERC charts, you can see where our ERCs have started to rebound and are near to above normal now over parts of eastern Idaho and across Utah. Looking at our live fuel moistures, they continue to be on the declining trend and are near to below normal region-wide. 10-hour fuel moistures, again very indicative of our fine fuels, show where the driest conditions are, and the Great Basin is very low with respect to fuel moisture. The lowest conditions are over southern areas and central areas of Nevada into the Arizona Strip and southern Utah. Looking at our satellite image from today, you can see generally high pressure off the west coast, with an area of low pressure now dropping south into the northern Rockies. This is what will account for our increasing winds today across Idaho and into tomorrow, which will also push down into eastern Utah. So again, increased fire potential over northern and eastern sides of the Great Basin as those winds increase. Looking at the weather pattern for later today, again generally dry conditions across the Great Basin, and as that area of low pressure drops south, our winds will be increasing, so we do have some high risk for windy and dry conditions over parts of eastern Utah for today, but also winds will be increasing across parts of southern Idaho. Relative humidity will remain in the single digits to low teens region-wide, and winds, again you can see the image on the right showing those breezy winds, generally across eastern Utah and southern Idaho is where the stronger winds will be today. As we move into Saturday, we continue with those dry conditions, and this area of low pressure tracks further east across the northern Rockies into the northern plains, continuing those breezy west to northwest winds. So we do have high risk again across eastern Utah and also over eastern Idaho and Wyoming, as those winds will be a little bit stronger on Saturday. Otherwise, dry conditions across the Great Basin. We will also see some slightly cooler temperatures in the north over the next couple of days as this area of low pressure tracks to the east. But very hot temperatures will continue over southern and western areas of the Great Basin today and will start to decrease over the weekend. Relative humidity will remain very low, again with those breezy winds, especially across southern and eastern Idaho into Wyoming and eastern Utah. On Sunday, we will continue to see dry conditions. Winds may be a little bit weaker, but still breezy up across Idaho, so we do have some high risk for the continued breezy and dry conditions. Otherwise, very low relative humidity, with fuels continuing to dry out across the Great Basin. Again, relative humidity generally below about 12 to 15%, and those breezy winds kind of region-wide on Sunday, but not overly strong, most of the gusts between about 25 and 30 miles per hour. No new precipitation expected across the Great Basin. There may be a few isolated thunderstorms today over far eastern Utah again, but again, for the most part, dry conditions region-wide. As we go into early next week, we will see the winds decrease across the area, but also we will see the ridge of high pressure starts to build from the south, so temperatures will start to increase again with continued dry weather. And on Tuesday, temperatures continue to heat up with continued low relative humidity and also continuing through Wednesday. Along with very low daytime humidity, overnight recoveries will be on the poor to moderate side region-wide. Again, light winds and above normal temperatures return. As we move into Thursday, we may see an area of low pressure approach from the west, so we will see possibly an increase in winds again as we get towards Thursday, and maybe even the potential for a few isolated thunderstorms. However, right now that's fairly far out, so we will continue to watch that pattern, as that would be after a very warm and dry period across the Great Basin, so that could increase fire potential once again. Again, no additional precipitation expected in the next 7 days. And looking at our 8 to 14 day outlook, taking us into the middle to late portion of August, showing warm temperatures and below normal chances for precipitation. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back tomorrow for the latest updates.